With Hasbro flagging my review of the My Little Pony movie, and being a real wisdom tooth about the whole thing, I thought I'd break into Season 8. And Hasbro, I'm no a brony analyst. I do not butter up my videos with only my opinion qualifiers. I do butter up my strap-on. I don't think Hasbro likes me. This episode starts with a cutie map, and this time it's not sending someone to solve a friendship problem.
Wow, those are all the places we went when we left to save Equestria.
And Mount Eris! Ooh, Starlight! Did you know we made seashell necklaces for all the sea ponies?
Riddle me this, McCarthy. If Starlight is meant to be part of the main cast, then why was she not in the movie?
What about that unicorn, the one who attacked Canterlot?
Tempest. I invited her to come to Ponyville, but she wanted to spread the word of the Storm King's defeat.
Yes, because we wouldn't want people shipping Twilight and Tempest now, would we? Twilight then says they need to spread the knowledge of friendship to the other races. So they're going to open a friendship school. So, a playgroup. After the credits, Twilight meets up with Celestia to ask for her advice about running a school.
The Equestria Education Association is a board of learned ponies that oversee every school in Equestria.
Wow, Celestia can be smart when she wants to be.
Not even a princess can do whatever she likes when it comes to shaping young pony minds. The EEA ensures that whether it's unicorns studying magic, Pegasi learning weather, or Earth ponies researching agriculture, all schools are held to the same high standard.
All those sound very stereotypical. Apart from that, Celestia does explain it well. All the schools need to meet standards that doesn't discriminate race or status, meaning that even Twilight can't do what she wants. That'll be important later. After getting provisional approval from the EEA, the school opens, and... narcissist much? How many of her own cutie mark did Twilight put on her school? I don't think Celestia's school has any sons on it. Twilight also got all her friends to be teachers. Wait, don't they have farms to run, businesses to do, and jobs they should be working at? The students then arrive, and they're not all ponies. There's Yona the Yak, Smolder the Dragon, Gallus the Griffin, Ocellus the Changeling, and Silverstream the Hippogriff. Because we're just after the movie. Although is it just me, or does her feathers look like a big fluffy jumper? I bet she's really soft. Also, it's kind of strange how the rest of the main six are surprised that there are other creatures as students, despite Twilight saying that at the start. Time for a song.
Can't mess up, can't afford a mistake now. We are shaping young minds to ignite. Do it like it says in the book. Now make sure you're doing it right.
This could actually work as a good lesson for Twilight in that guidelines are just that. Because Twilight seems to be following the EEA's guidelines to the letter, meaning that the students are bored, the teachers are stressed, and Twilight's oblivious. After the song, a fight breaks out among the young six. That just makes it sound like something DHX is going to start, and then forget about. The main six bring the problems to Twilight.
Every school in Equestria follows these rules. As long as we do too, we'll be fine.
Yes, we must all follow the rules. The rules will save us. We must give ourselves to the rules. The rules are our new god. Yeah, I guarantee that schools don't stick 100% to the rules. The young six decide to skip class and are almost caught, but Ocellus thinks fast.
A generosity field trip, darling. I'm taking the students to the lake to look at our divine reflections.
Okay, I don't like how often MLP reforms characters, but they did a good job with the changelings post-Reformation.
My friends can handle anything. They'll have these problems turned around before we know it.
Problems?
What is he, Thanos? Is he going to throw Captain Solano off a cliff to get a soul gem at some point? Spoiler warning. By the way, did you know there was a My Little Pony movie prequel novel? The reason I bring this up is because one of the covers is totally Star Trek the Motion Picture. Anyway, with my obligatory Star Trek reference out the way, they head out to Friends and Family Day, and... hang on. The world leaders walk across the lake in one shot, then up the hill in the opposite direction in the next. After some talking and laughing noises, the young six arrive with Ocellus transformed into some sort of giant insect thing, and everyone thinks the school is under attack and start running around with part of the building getting damaged. Once everything has cooled down, Chancellor Nacy has his own ideas of what just happened.
Those are students? But you said you were opening this school to protect Equestria, to defend ponies from dangerous creatures who don't have our best interests at heart.
Let me guess, he was friends with non-ponies, but then they did a mean thing one time, and now he's against being their friend. Once all the other creatures leave, Chancellor Naysay shuts the school down by putting magical chains on it. Okay. Part 2 begins with Twilight moping in her room, and after her friends try to cheer her up, she gets some advice from Starlight.
I can't go against the EEA. They're in charge of all the schools in Equestria. And you're in charge of all the friendship in Equestria. Why should you let some pony else stop you from doing your job? But the EEA rulebook doesn't matter. You can write your own rules.
You can't just make your own rules. Sure, it may sound cool or like you're revolutionizing the way something is done, but there is a reason guidelines exist. I mean, if she's not following the EEA guidelines, then what sets the maximum and minimum length of a school day? What can they and can they not do if a student misbehaves? What pay do the teachers get? And so on. That's why I thought that the lesson that Twilight was too rigid in following the guidelines would be a good lesson. Because a music teacher isn't going to teach their class the same way a math teacher teaches their class. An English teacher isn't going to teach a class about Romeo and Juliet the same way an art teacher teaches a class about Van Gogh. And an RMPS class won't have the same outlook on life a science class will. Which seems to be where I think Twilight was going wrong. In the song she was magicking every class the same. Then again, the idea I had wouldn't work in a 2-part episode. Hang on, who wrote this? Oh, thank fuck. I was worried for a second there that they'd gotten George Arthur Bloom to write an episode. Because this episode is all over the place and weirdly stretched out like one of his Tales episodes, or Flutter Valley. Twilight decides to reopen the school and convinces her friends, before sending them to go get the other creature students.
Why Pink Pony here? Yak's mad at ponies!
Because you don't have to be mad anymore. We're reopening Twilight Sparkle's School of Friendship, and it's gonna be super duper better than before.
But it turns out all the students are missing, and the problem goes all the way up to Luna. Oh, and Celestia's there as well.
Some creature is hiding them. If the niece of our queen is not found soon, I promise there will be retribution.
The Changeling Empire can't afford an international incident.
Alright, Pony War. Twilight and friends start to investigate the missing students. At Sugar Cube Corner. You know, my favourite CSI episode was the one where Horatio dissected that dead guy in a Burger King. Sandbar then arrives and sees the chart. Why is he called Sandbar? I mean, if he was a hippogriff, then that would make sense since all their names are water-themed. But he's a horse. He picks up his cupcakes from Pinky and heads over to the castle of the two sisters. Hey, does everyone remember in the pilot when the Everfree Forest was a scary place that no one was to go? Just checking. She looks like a dog. And Orselis looks very cute in those pillows.
I just found stairs!
Okay, Silverstream is the best of the young six. Although it's kind of interesting how they were able to get more character out of these 6 in just 2 episodes than Starlight Glimmer in a little over 2 seasons. Then again, did we think the same about her once?
We don't have anything like them underwater because, you know, no way to climb them.
Wait, I thought she needed the magic pearl in order to transform. Their fun is then disturbed by this beastie.
Am I the only one who didn't sleep through Professor Fluttershy's Critters of Comfort and Conflict class? It's a puckwudgie.
Maybe they should get Professor Snape. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Because a whole group of them arrive and start attacking the young six. I still think that's a terrible name. But then the main 6 and Starlight arrive to save them. Although my mind goes to all the wrong places when Twilight and Starlight rub their horns together. Like dicks! Once the students are saved, they go back to the school and Twilight undoes Chancellor Naysay's chains.
Who dared remove my seal?
What if someone bought the building and was going to convert it into flats or something? Would that need EEA approval? Chancellor Naysay points out that the school is unaccredited. But Twilight says that she's a special snowflake who doesn't have to follow the rules that everyone else, even Celestia, follows.
It's true that my School of Friendship is EEA unaccredited.
Then it is not a school.
It's not an EEA school. It's a friendship school. With its own rules. I should know. I wrote the book.
It's strange how against this he is, given that the ruler of not just his nation, but all the other nations is standing right in front of him. But then again, that's probably something for the season finale. Well, after Twilight and Starlight tie the knot, the episode ends. Jim Sterling once said, "When you design something to support future stuff, you can't really in your right mind expect it to be very good on its own merit." Because this episode seems like it's thinking about the season finale, rather than trying to be a good episode on its own. Not only that, but I'd actually put money on Chancellor Nacy sharing a backstory with Starlight, Tempest, Luna and so on, and then being reformed at the end. So really, if it's that predictable at this point, why should we watch it? It isn't a bad episode, but it could have been better just by being its own episode. Not only that, but this episode teaches a horrible lesson. Like I said earlier, there is a reason guidelines and regulations exist. If a car company wants to sell a car to a region, they have to follow that region's guidelines. Hence why TVR never sold in America. Because they didn't have airbags. A regulatory requirement in the country for the safety of anyone in the vehicle in the event of a crash. At the moment, Nintendo is facing legal trouble in Europe for not obeying the EU's consumer protection rights by not offering refunds in their eShop. And can you honestly say that those are bad or unreasonable? Maybe you could say this is commentary on how some regulations need to be updated for the modern age, but Twilight doesn't campaign to update the regulations, she just decides not to follow the EEA's guidelines. So yeah, a could have been better episode with a bad lesson at the end.